You want to die tonight?
You are now listening to Home of Halloween's You Run podcast, the horror movie review podcast run and controlled by you, our listeners. I'm Scott, and I'll be your host each week as I take you through the movies you've chosen for me to review. Now, let's find out what I'll be reviewing this week.
What did you say this room was called?
Sacrificial chamber.
That's right, this week it's Horror Fun Week. And today we'll be reviewing Alien vs Predator. This movie was hand selected by my guest from a list of 4 movies that I gave him. There was no poll for you guys this week, and I apologise for that, but when we have a guest on, because it's the You Run podcast, I want them to be able to run a bit of the show too, so they get to select the movie that I watch and I review and we discuss later in the show. Guest today is Movie Man Jason. Jason I've known for a long time, and his movie knowledge is exceptional. The time he spends during the course of a week watching movies is ridiculous. He is movie obsessed, a huge sci-fi fan, and also a really huge horror fan. So Alien vs Predator kind of fits his niche almost perfectly. Later on, Jason's going to be taking on our quiz, Horror Not Horror. We've had one person take part already, and that was Lisa, the brains behind Home of Halloween. She hit out with a score of 11 out of 20. So Jason's goal today is going to be to knock Lisa off the top spot, so we'll find out how he does later on. My name's Scott. You are listening to Home of Halloween's You Run podcast. This is the podcast run and controlled by you, the listeners. So later on, we're going to hear your 3-word reviews. We've got some questions that you've sent in for Ask the Guest. And let's get straight in, play the trailer, and review Alien vs Predator.
"7 days ago, one of my satellites over Antarctica discovered a pyramid.
Where exactly on the ice is this?
It's not on the ice. It's 2,000 feet under it. Let's make history.
Oh my God. Whoever built this pyramid believed in ritual sacrifice.
Did you hear that?
What was that thing? What's going on? Let's go!
What did you say this room was called?
Sacrificial chamber.
This story's all here. This whole thing was a trap.
They're not hunting us. We're in the middle of a war.
They're using us as bait.
You ugly son of a...
When Alien vs Predator was announced, my excitement level hit the roof. Alien is a god in sci-fi horror. It is pretty much the pinnacle of what you can get. And Predator, for an action horror, again, is very, very good. And they both spawned very, very good sequels. The idea of a crossover for the two, I thought was amazing. And I was genuinely looking forward to going and seeing this film. As we got closer to release date, there were some things that started to concern me. So the first thing they'd done is they announced that it was going to be a PG-13, which straight away told me that there's no blood, there's no gore, there's no real violence between the alien and the predator, which, if you look at any of the other films, that is 100% required. From there, the next thing that really concerned me is this movie didn't get screened by critics. That's not uncommon necessarily, but movies that tend not to be screened by critics are bad. But I still went off to the cinema with high hopes and joy in my heart, only to have all of my hopes dashed and destroyed. Alien vs Predator follows a very, very simple premise. There is a heat signature or an energy spike in the Arctic. I can't even remember what it is because it's fucking irrelevant to the story, which causes a team to go and investigate this pyramid they've seen in the Arctic. So using their satellite scanners, you get almost like a PlayStation 1 or PlayStation 2 graphic of the pyramid, which they can see through 2,000 foot of ice, which straight away I was like, no, really? They then arrive to find that there's already a hole been tunnelled in to the pyramid. First of all, why did they not question why the fuck is there a hole here already? And two, they had no drilling equipment. So even if they hadn't had a hole there, what the fuck were they going to do when they got there? But let's look past that. They go down into the pyramid. They do some investigation in the pyramid and find themselves trapped. They get themselves locked in. We get a scene where some alien eggs come up and sit on pedestals. Some face huggers jump out and lay their eggs into the human team, which later become aliens, and that leads us into the Alien versus Predator part of this film. When they call it the sacrificial chamber is triggered, that notifies 3 predators who are like coming of age predators. So this is their testing ground to prove that they are the warrior they should be. And they make their way into the pyramid and chaos ensues. I've got some serious issues with this film. Most of them relate around the Predator. So the Predator's got a very strict set of rules based on the first 2 movies. The Predators are very tall and they're fairly big, but they're very agile. The Predators in this are rugby players. They are huge. And I think they done that to make them bigger and scarier to go against the alien. And that didn't work for me because they're doing CGI somersaults, and I was looking at it going, something that big can't move like that, and it doesn't look right. There's bits where it almost looks like you can just see the mask moving, and I didn't like it. The other thing that they break, and they broke away from quite strongly, and I thought was just dumb, is predators only kill things that are a threat. So in, I think it was Predator 2, there's a bit where there's a child who's got a toy gun pointing at the predator. The predator assesses the threat and goes, you can't hurt me, and leaves him alone. In this, the predator kills an unarmed man before he goes down into the pyramid. When he's in the pyramid, he's throwing ninja stars and trying to kill unarmed people. And that just didn't work. I mean, maybe they're younger predators and they're a little bit overzealous, but it just didn't work, and I didn't like it. Then we reached the point where Alien fights the Predator. We got a pretty good fight scene. There's some iffy CGI in it, but we got to see the battle. And then from there, the Predator realizes it can't kill all the aliens on its own, so it teams up with the only surviving human member. And they work together to kill off some of the aliens and then evidently kill the alien queen when she escapes, because the other aliens let her out. The human element in this film is fucking useless. There was no need for it. They done it purely to have hosts for the aliens to infect or to impregnate. They could have done that by saying a previous team has gone in and we're going to go in and find out where they'd gone. And we could have already had aliens when they arrived. And I really didn't like it. It was done just to fill time. And pretty much every time a human's on screen, it was done to fill time. Because the only reason anyone went to see this was to see Alien fight Predator. No one else cared about anything else, or I definitely didn't. It was put together in a way that I think the studio and the director had an idea of what the fans wanted, but they didn't talk to the fans or really look into the two separate franchises to see how they would deliver it. And they come up with the idea of they want to see an alien fight a predator, and that's what they gave us. And they didn't look into maybe we'd want a single predator or multiple predators hunting lots and lots of aliens, or maybe we wanted let's be honest, I wanted to see the predator killing lots and lots of aliens with his gun and his three triangle dots. That's what I wanted to see, and I didn't get that, and it didn't work for me. Score wise, I'm going to score it for Fear on a 1. If you don't like face huggers, there's lots of people who don't like them. They're in this, but they are pretty bad CGI versions of them. There's times the CGI in this is almost cartoony. So I'm going to score it Fear. I'll score it a 1, maybe a 2. We'll give it a 2 for Fear, because it's got a little bit of scare in it. There's no real horror in it. From there, I'm going to give a score for the film. This for me is a 4. It's below average. It's below what I expected. I score between 1 and 10. 5 is middle of the road. That ticks all the boxes of what I thought that film would do. And Alien vs Predator just didn't do that. Having said all of that, I did still enjoy Alien vs Predator. You cannot watch this film and not find bits that you enjoy and you find entertaining. And it's a perfect fit for Horror Fun Week because it is a fun movie. It's not a very good movie, but it's a fun movie. If you're going to watch this, please do, if you've not seen it already. Don't go in expecting Alien, don't go in expecting Aliens. Definitely don't go in expecting Predator 1 or Predator 2. Go in expecting something that was cobbled together and thrown out, but you get to see an alien fight a predator, and you will be happy with that. What I'm going to do, I'm going to get you one of the fun ads that we've got for this. Writing the fun ad for Alien vs Predator was almost impossible, so I hope you enjoy. Are you planning an expedition? Are you looking to go under the ice to an ancient pyramid filled with evil aliens? If so, you're stupid. But if you're insistent on going, I suggest you go to ilovefancydress.com. Use discount code HOHSALE on checkout to get 10% off and buy yourself either an Indiana Jones costume with an explorer's hat and a black leather whip, or get yourself a Halo officially licensed Spartan outfit. At least that way when the aliens come to kill you, you'll look the part. There are quite a few facts for Alien vs Predator. I don't know if you're going to find them all interesting. Some of them I found really interesting. Some of them not so much. So let's start with the worst and work our way up to the better ones. So this movie cost $60 million to make, and it grossed $177 million. So from a studio perspective, this was a success, which is why it went on to spawn Alien vs Predator Requiem, which is an infinitely worse film than this. I'm going to stick that on a poll at some point, maybe later this season, maybe in season 3. If you choose that movie, you will get probably the most venom-filled anger, lots and lots of swearing about a film, because I think that is possibly one of the worst horror films ever made. So I'll give you the chance to put that in for me to watch and review. The movie used 20 tons of fake snow. The snow in this looks very good. If you watch the DVD commentary where the director and the producer are talking about the film, whenever there is snow on the screen, they are so happy and so pleased how good their snow was. If they'd put half as much effort into the movie as they did to their snow, we would have had a much, much, much better film. Alien vs Predator was... They toyed with the idea a lot earlier on than they'd done it. And they approached Sigourney Weaver, whose response was, "I'm not doing that, it's dumb. It sounds dumb." And she never come on board, which is why this come much later. Ridley Scott was asked, when this film came out, he was interviewed. I think he was doing promotion for another one of his films. And he was asked what his thoughts on Alien vs Predator were. Ridley Scott gave a very strange answer, but he tore it to pieces without saying anything. So what Ridley Scott said was he wouldn't comment on Alien vs Predator, as he didn't want anything he would say to damage his relationship with 20th Century Fox. So what he actually said was, "This film is fucking shit. I've told 20th Century Fox, and I've agreed I'm not going to slag it off in public because I don't want any backlash." And I think that kind of sums this film up. If you are a diehard Alien or Predator fan, this film is probably not for you. Or you will enjoy it, but it's not on the same level. The words alien and predator are never said throughout the whole film, not once. The alien queen at the end, when this film was released, was the most sophisticated animatronic on the face of the planet. To put it in perspective of how advanced this had more than twice as many moving parts as the T-Rex from Jurassic Park. If you've ever seen any of the documentaries and the behind-the-scenes stuff on Jurassic Park, that T-Rex was a marvel of ingenuity and technology when it was made. And this alien queen eclipsed what it could do. They had all the tools to make this a great movie and just didn't manage to do it. Lance Henriksen was the first person cast. Lance is obviously famous for playing Bishop in Aliens and Bishop 2 in Alien 3. There is no reason for him to be cast. He's not playing a Bishop character. The reason he was cast was as a cheap grab to bring the Alien fans across. And although his performance was good, it just felt like it was cheap. It was a cheap way to bring fans to it, and I didn't like it. And I think he's very talented. I thought in the Alien films, Aliens and Alien 3, he was fantastic. And even in this, his performance is strong. But they didn't do enough to build any sort of human element in this that I could give a shit about. I really genuinely didn't care. Whenever the humans were on screen, I was like, come on, let's just get back to the Alien and Predator. I didn't care. My final fact for this is one that I really like. So Arnie from Predator was originally involved and very, very interested in doing a end of credits scene where he would arrive and basically save the day. And that was their plan going forward. When they started production, that was the plan. We're going to have an end of sequence cutscene with Arnie, which would evidently lead on to a sequel with Arnie in it. And I thought that would have been great. The reason that didn't happen is it was done on a condition that Arnie had said, I will do this, but only on the condition I will do it if I lose my bid to be governor of California. He went on to win governor of California. And then ditched movies for quite a period of time, and this was already going, so that they couldn't bring him back into it. But we nearly got what I think would have been possibly one of the best end cut sequences, and could have saved a lot of this film. If they had done a bad film and ended it with that cut sequence, leading into a sequel with him in it and better production and more money, and it could have spawned something, but it didn't. It didn't happen, and we ended up with what we've got. I think that's enough facts from me. So let's find out what you think about this movie and listen to your 3-word reviews.
Hey, come here. Take a look at this.
Three-word reviews of Alien versus Predator. Rewind Horror on Twitter says, yep, we lose. 10,000 Screams on Instagram, humans are screwed. And finally, Dr. Snik on Instagram, sucks donkey balls. I'm going to tell you a little bit about our 3-word reviewers this week, because this is part of the deal. You give a 3-word review and I give a shout out for what you do, because as a thank you for being part of the You Run podcast, I do appreciate your 3-word reviews, and it's great, and I thank you for that. So a little bit about the people who've contributed today. So Dr. Snik is an indie musician. He's got some really good stuff on his Instagram. We've also got 10,000 Screams, who's a fellow movie reviewer. All of his reviews are done on Instagram. He's reviewed some really good movies in there as well, so have a look at what he's done. And then finally we've got Rewind Horror, who's got loads and loads of fun stuff and reviews and top 10s and stuff on Instagram, Twitter and YouTube as well. Links for all of our 3-word reviewers are in the bio to this episode. So the bit before you listen to us, on the description, in there is all of the links to everyone. So if any of them tickle your fancy, click on one of the links and go and see what they can do. And that was this week's 3-word reviews. Thank you to all 3 of our 3-word reviewers this week, and thank you to everyone who gets involved in the show, whether it's you've given a 3-word review and you've not been picked, or you have been picked, thank you. And also if you've sent in a question to either ask me or ask our guest, or even as small a thing as voting in the polls and choosing the movies that I review. I greatly appreciate all of your interactions. And don't forget, you can still send us a message over at anchor.fm/home of Halloween. Record us a voicemail and you'll get a play on the air as well. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to play you one of our fun ads. This ad was almost impossible to do. So I hope you enjoy this. And then we're going to meet Movie Man Jason and get him to take on the quiz after we found out what he thinks of Alien versus Predator. So, you entered a pyramid, you escaped the aliens and the predators, and now you're stuck on a frozen tundra. You should have gone to shockwheels.com and used checkout code HOHSALE to get £25 off your order. Now, you'd be zooming across the ice to get somewhere warm. Instead, you're going to freeze and die. So, next time you plan on going into the Arctic, go to shockwheels.com first. That's it. We've finally reached the point. Let's have our first guest of season 2. He is the movie fanatic, horror fanatic, sci-fi crazy. He is Movie Man Jason. And here I am with this week's guest, Movie Man Jason.
Hello, Scott.
Thank you for coming on the show.
More than welcome.
You picked the movie this week.
Aliens versus Predators.
You did. First of all, what's your overall thoughts on the film?
Concept, good.
Yeah.
Well, the concept is excellent. They're basically boys with toys, aren't they? Going from planet to planet, killing things, enjoying themselves, kicking shit out of stuff.
Yeah.
Every boy's dream, really, isn't it?
Everyone wanted to see Alien versus Predator.
Yeah.
But everything else around it, no one really.
No. You could have stuck them. You could have stuck them under the ground. You could have stuck them in the forest. It'd have been nice if they'd have gone off world somewhere.
Yeah, I think that, but I'm not sure why they based it on Earth. The only thing I can think is so they could have the hosts.
I think because they've been coming back to the planet for thousands of years, and they want cattle fodder, basically, don't they?
Yeah.
They want, they want a bit.
Yeah.
They need a warm body.
Yeah, to host the alien so it can hatch. That was one thing I noticed is the speed, how quick. So like in the Alien films, when they impregnate someone, it's like a day or there's a good chunk of film. Whereas in this, it was like
two things. I mean, they've done it quite a few times. In Aliens, the one where she goes back.
Yeah.
They take the time on that one.
Yeah.
With this one, Alien Predator, basically, they're in the sacrificial chamber.
Yeah.
Spurts out, cut scene, changes 10 minutes, cut scene, change pyramid, poof, fully grown alien.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought they grew really, really quick. What was your favourite scene in this film?
One of my favourite scenes was with the netting. When he netted the alien. And he thinks he's got him. He jumps down into the hole after him. He thinks, "Yes, got you, you little bastard."
Yeah.
Net.
Yeah, because the net disintegrates when the acid.
Yeah.
Acid blood touches it. What film was it they used the net in again, where he caught a human in the net?
Well, he did in that film.
Yeah,
because he did him with the thing, and then he finished him off with the spear.
Yeah. I think the one thing this film suffered with is because it wasn't an 18, it lost all the gore elements were not as gory as they should have been. Like the chest bursters kind of just burst out and away they went.
Yeah.
It wasn't like that first Alien film where it come out of the chest. It was like, I remember watching the first Alien.
Well, the first Alien film with John Hurt.
Yeah.
They did that. There was only two people who knew about that. The director and John Hurt knew about that scene. The rest of them were around that, Scorny Weaver and everybody were around that table, and nobody knew that was going to happen.
No,
not even. I mean, it was a surprise for them. That's why they got such a shock, and that's why it worked.
Yeah, and they had the same reaction as we had watching it.
Yeah, I shit myself. Yeah, and if I'd have been there, if I'd have been on their spaceship, I'd have been space walking.
Yeah. If you could have changed anything on Alien versus Predator, what would you have changed?
Like you said, I'd probably turned it an 18. It needed more gore. It had. Not bad. No, I mean there was a few scenes. You had one alien killed by a predator, one alien killed by the girl. But you could have. It needs. That's what it's about. It's hunting.
Yeah.
It's about, you know what I mean. It's about hunting, kicking shit. You could. There was a good fight scene where she killed the alien with a spear, and there was having a good fight scene, and he was chucking the alien about and that.
Yeah.
But apart from that, there wasn't enough action.
Yeah.
There was too much humans, what they were doing. They were doing.
See, I think what I wanted is like the Predator is this super stealth hunter.
Yeah.
And what I wanted it to be is lots and lots and lots of aliens and the Predators hunting them and picking them off.
Yeah, the first two Predators died too quick.
Yeah, way too quick.
Yeah.
Way too quick.
It's almost as if they'd spent this time on the ship, they'd spent this time with the training and all the crap, blah, 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 blah. And then when it got down to the actual fighting, they had to cram in 2 deaths really quick. And then that fight scene with her and the Predator, and just them left.
Yeah, well, if you think like the original Alien and the original Predator, it took a long time to show us the monsters, which is the way it should be.
Yeah.
But Alien versus Predator, we know what Alien looks like. We know what Predator looks like. Don't spend 40 minutes teasing what they look like, because we've seen them. Just fucking let them fight.
There wasn't enough. Yeah, there wasn't. That's what it was about, Alien versus Predator.
Yeah.
But there wasn't enough Alien versus Predator.
No, it was Alien versus Predator for 10 minutes. The rest of the time is the humans working out what they're doing. And
yeah, because the first 2 Predator deaths, they crammed in really quick.
Yeah, they did. I'd agree with that. If you're going to score it, what score would you give it?
Oh, I still love the film. I'd still give it an 8 out of 10. Not for the special effects, not for any other reason, but the concept. I think the concept of the Predators coming back year after year and fighting us and kicking shit out of us, like, you know, Arnie and the Predator, whatnot, and just fighting the best of the best, but coming back every year and setting up that little hunting ground.
Yeah, and it's a good fun film.
It is.
This week's horror fun week, and you picked a film that is a fun film.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say anyone shouldn't watch it.
Yeah,
watch it.
It's not scary in the slightest.
No,
I mean, it's not got enough gore and enough scare factor, but it is.
But if
really
you want a
fun.
film to switch your brain off and just watch,
Mary Poppins was scarier than that.
Yeah. But if you want something to just switch your brain off and just
Yeah,
enjoy
it's
a film.
Fun alien predator film.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. We've got some questions from our guests. So we do a feature on the show which is Ask the Host. And this week, because you're on, I've changed it and it's Ask the Guest. Yeah, and we're going to get into that now. Ask the Guest! So we've had a couple of questions through for our guest this week. First question comes through from Sophie Batchelor on Instagram, and she said, what is your favourite horror, and if you were in it, how long would you last?
That is a hard one because I've got quite a few. Being a massive sci-fi as well. That is a really, really hard question. That's a question that, which one do you do? Because I'm a fan of the old 80s stuff. I'm a fan of Freddy Krueger. Don't scare you, but I love it. But modern day horror, I probably think the Enfield Haunted. Yeah? It is probably my favourite.
Would you survive it? Would you survive your way through?
Oh Christ, no, I'd be shit. I'd shit a brick wall and I'd grind it. No.
And our other question coming from Movies 24/7, and they asked, "What's the wildest Halloween costume you've ever worn?"
I don't know. I've been a zombie. I loads in Frankenstein, zombie. Wildest. When I was younger, I think, because I got dressed in sausages and suspenders and a miniskirt and did a zombie face.
So, to put this into perspective for our listeners, Jason, you are how tall?
6'3".
6'3" and built like a tank.
Yeah, slightly big, yeah.
And stocky as the suspenders.
Yeah, I got good legs though.
Yeah, and a full beard to go with it.
Yeah. I won't come near you. I know you're getting a sweat on.
Yeah,
I won't touch you.
I'll get a little bit excited now. So those are our two questions this week. Thank you very much to both of our listeners who sent those in. Are you ready to play Horror Not Horror?
Yeah, I'll give it a good go.
You ready? Can you take Lisa off the top spot?
No. No, I want one. As long as I get one, more than the dog.
More than the dog. Right, okay. Well, let's get into Horror Not Horror. And here we go. Horror Not Horror. So the rules to this is I'm going to give you a movie quote.
Yeah.
You tell me first of all if it's a horror film or not a horror film.
Monkey says I'll get at least one.
Yeah. And you get a point for that. If you can then tell me what film that quote is from, you get another point. There's 10 questions, so a maximum of 20 points.
Yeah. Do I twist your nipple and get a clue?
Not on this podcast. Maybe maybe we'll do a different podcast and you could do that. Top scores Lisa. She's the only one who's played, so you've got a good chance of taking the top spot.
No, Lisa's good. She's a scary bitch.
That's my future wife.
Yeah.
And you are 100% accurate in everything you've just said. So first quote. It was my bad. I never really was much of a good practical joker.
It was my bad. Horror.
It is a horror. Any idea what film?
Yeah, I do, but I can't know it. I've heard that quote.
It was Zombieland, and it was Bill Murray.
Yeah, I know. I could picture it.
Right, next one. I always liked you. You were the best of them. Best goddamn bartender from Timbuktu to Portland, Maine. Or Portland, Oregon, for that matter.
Horror.
It is a horror. Any idea which one?
Not The Shining, is it?
It is The Shining. That was Jack Torrance talking to the barman.
Yeah.
Okay, next one. Thunder Buddies for Life.
That's not horror.
That's not a horror.
Oh, where have I heard that? Thunder Buddies. How long's your phone record for?
not long enough for you to go and Google.
No, I won't.
It was from You can have a guess, or do you want me to?
No.
It was from Ted. It was Ted.
Yeah.
Beep, beep. How do you say scared shitless in Italian?
Not a clue. Not a clue.
Have a guess. Horror or not horror?
Not horror.
Unfortunately, it was a horror, and it was from Alien versus Predator. The girl talking to the Italian man when they're all
How did you say?
How do you say scared shitless in Italian?
On the helicopter.
Yeah.
No, that's not.
Yeah.
We've just watched.
That's not the quote he says.
It was.
He says something else, doesn't he, in Italian?
He said, yeah, and
repeats
she, yeah, but then she asked him, how do you say scared shitless in Italian?
I tell you what, wife walked in, didn't she?
Yeah.
And I couldn't hear the telly.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
Okay, next one. Say what again? I dare you. I double dare you, motherfucker. Say what one more time.
Non-horror.
It is not a horror.
Bad Boys.
No, it's Pulp Fiction. It's Samuel L. Jackson.
Of course it is. Of course it is. Jesus Christ, I'm not that old. I'm only 12 and a half.
I am serious, and don't call me Shirley.
Oh. I know that as well. Not horror.
It's not a horror.
I'm serious, don't call me Shirley. I know that, Vic. No.
That was from Airplane.
Yeah.
It was Leslie Nielsen.
It was. I knew that and all.
We all go a little mad sometimes.
Horror.
That is a horror.
Oh, do you know that is so frustrating because it's.
There are listeners screaming the answer now.
Shout a bit louder, you pillocks. No, go on then.
No, it was Psycho.
Psycho, yeah, of course.
Do you want to play a game?
Horror.
It is a horror.
Chucky.
No, it's Saw.
Oh, well, I'm not a big Saw fan.
No, to be fair, I'm not.
Fan.
I'm not a big fan of the whole torture porn.
No. No, porn's all right, but the torture.
Question 9, or quote 9. I love you 3000.
Oh, that is not horror.
It's not a horror.
That is his daughter saying it to. That's Iron Man saying it to his daughter when he's dead on the little video. That's Endgame.
Avengers Endgame. Well done. Okay, final one. At the moment, you've got 10 points. So if you get 1 point, you'll tie. If you get the movie and whether it's horror or not horror, you'll take the lead.
Yeah, we'll just say I'll be back.
Yeah. Right, final one. Do or do not. There is no try.
Oh, that's in Alien versus Predator as well.
Is that your answer?
Yeah, it's horror.
No, it's not. It's Yoda from Star Wars.
Hang on, no. But if you watch Alien versus Predator, when I think his name's Johansson or something, drops down, and he's the one with the scar on his face. He says, "I'm never going to see my wife again." And the geeky one that showed the photos and kept taking the photos, yeah, he said to him, "Do or don't," you know what I mean? But he said that to him because he was like, "I would give in. I'm a big hard man. I've got a gun." He's a geek, and he's saying, "I'll carry you out here if I have to." You watch it.
I tell you what,
half a point.
I tell you what, I will give you half a point.
No. 3/4. Then I can say I'm only a quarter behind you.
I tell you what I'll do, because you've made such a strong argument, I'll give you a point and you can tie the leaderboard with Lisa.
He does actually say that. He says, "Do or do not." You know what I mean? He says, "I'll carry you out here if I have to."
I will give you a point and I will check.
Extra half point for a blowjob.
I will check, and if it is the quote, I'll give you an additional point.
Thank you.
And that was this week's Horror Not Horror. Oh, Horror Not Horror, Horror Not Horror.
Horror Not Horror.
Horror Not Horror.
Definitely a whore.
We definitely need to do a different podcast.
Yes, do you jingle or jangle?
Yeah. Maybe that could be an episode in the next season. So that's Jason and Lisa tied. Not really fairly, but I think tied for the lead with 11 points each. And that wraps up Horror Not Horror. So we've got a tie on the leaderboard now. It's a contested tie with the slightly iffy 11 from you.
I did offer the blowjob, so it's worth the point.
So thank you for coming on.
No, you're more than welcome. I enjoyed it.
I'm glad you picked Alien versus Predator because it fits this week. It is Horror Fun Week, and it is a fun.
Yeah,
movie.
it was a fun film. It's there for minor horror people, but sci-fi people, so it mixes in and.
It's a film you can watch and you can enjoy. I wouldn't say don't watch it. I wouldn't say go into it and expect a masterpiece.
No.
Go in and expect some good fights, some mediocre story, but something that's watchable and it's enjoyable.
Yeah.
And you get to see what we all want to see, an alien fight a predator. Yeah. It's the same as the Godzilla versus Kong.
Yeah.
You don't go and watch a movie like that for the storyline. You watch it to watch a monkey punch a lizard.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And that's what you get. You get what you pay for.
Yeah, exactly that. Exactly that. So next week, it's no guest next week. It's just me, I'm afraid. Next week we've got Pucker
Billy
Up.
No Mates.
Yeah, Billy No Mates next week. Next week we've got Pucker Up. It's Paranormal Week. And I'll be reviewing The Conjuring 2 as selected by you. I want to say thank you to both of our sponsors, Shock Wheels and ilovefancydress.com, for supporting the show, and to Madman Audio, who's provided all of the music throughout this episode. Don't forget, if you've listened to the show and you've got this far and you've enjoyed it, recommend it to a friend. Just grab someone and go, have a listen to this, and our numbers will go up, and that will mean that our sponsors will support us more and I can do more giveaways, and it will generally make a better show. So please recommend.
Don't grab a nun off the street.
No, don't grab someone off the street. Also, if you want to get involved in the show, there's lots and lots of ways you can do it. So you can get involved in the polls on Instagram every week. You get to pick the movies that I review, unless I've got a guest on and then they pick, but you still get to pick a good chunk of what I review. You can do the 3-word review, so every week you get to have your say on the film that I'm reviewing. Good, bad, indifferent, just make it so it stands out, and you will get a read of your review on the air, and you'll get a shout out as well. We've got our new feature, which is Ask the Host, which this week was Ask the Guest, which Jason answered the questions. And you can also call in and leave us a voicemail. Go to anchor.fm/home of Halloween, click on the box that says message, record us an audio clip. It can be anything you want. It can be an impersonation. It can be a request for a movie. You can slag me off and give me a critique. I've got broad shoulders. I can take it. Anything you want, that's your forum to say something that you think our listeners need to hear.
Pizza, salami, pineapple and 2 garlic bread, please.
Pineapple on pizza?
Yeah.
Oh no, that's a whole...
That's a whole thing.
That's a whole nother show. Thank you very much for listening. I've been your host, Scott. Jason's been my guest.
More than welcome, enjoyed it.
And we'll catch you all next week.
Took me a week to get back to the world.
Yes, I told Mr. Weldon that. He said he didn't have a week.
You want to die tonight?